One of the most popular questions we get at Ag PhD every year is, when should I buy my fertilizer?
The other popular question is, when should I sell my crop? When is that crop price going to peak out? And I would say to you this: crop prices and fertilizer prices tend to follow each other. So when we see corn price going up to $7, well, that fertilizer price is going to come up to a near an all-time high as well. When we see corn price drop back to $3, well, that fertilizer price doesn't move down quite as quickly as what's going to happen in Chicago with the corn price, but it is going to come down over time. And so you have to kind of look at things as, if these two markets are tied together, if I'm marketing corn or I'm marketing the grain that I have in my farm, it's probably the time that I want to market the fertilizer as well.
As a general rule, the seasonal low for fertilizer prices is about when the seasonal low for propane comes. It's in the mid to late summer. So we're kind of looking at that right now. But that's the seasonal low. That doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the low over the next 8 months before you get next year's crop in. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I do know this: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium are all down off their highs. Here's the other thing I know. There's a certain percentage of your fertilizer that you can probably bank on. Yep, you're going to need a bunch of nitrogen. You're probably going to need some phosphorus and potassium. But one of the big things that we see around the country, farmers are doing a lot more soil testing to try to fine-tune the program. Even on our farm, for example, we used to spend similar dollars on phosphorus and potassium, and now we're spending approximately 5 times as much of potassium as we are on phosphorus, because we realized, ooh, our phosphorus levels are getting pretty good, but our potassium levels are not there. So let's reallocate some of the dollars, stick them where we actually need them, and we're going to make a better return on investment.
Well, I was thinking about this too, of when do you buy fertilizer? I don't even know what fertilizer I need yet. We've got a number of things going on in some of these fields, and we're doing more grid soil sampling to identify where certain problems are and what we can do. For example, we've got one field where we've applied 30 tons of lime to it over the last 5 or 6 years. Well, wow, I wasn't thinking about that 5 or 6 years ago, that hey, over the next 5 or 6 years, we're going to put 30 tons per acre of lime out in this field. So I'd be thinking, here's what I normally do in the field, here's what I normally spend. And I guess that's what I would prepay for going into this late summer, early fall market. I don't know, like Brian was saying, you know what you're going to use for nitrogen in most cases, and maybe to some degree P and K, but with micronutrients and some of the other things going on, sulfur, you may really make some big changes on your farm if you're doing grid soil sampling and if you're willing to do some variable rate on your farm to try to maximize your profits.
Okay, so I'm just going to give you my guess as to what's going to happen here. And again, I have no idea, so this is...
So whatever Brian guesses, I'll guess the opposite.
Right,
So...
I'm just saying this is for entertainment value only, okay? But here's my feeling on this thing. As I look at it today, and I look at even our own ground, where we're cash renting, we're going to have a real tough time making money. Okay, so if we as farmers are having a tough time making money, are we really that anxious to go out and buy a whole bunch of fertilizer? No, we're not. So I have a tough time believing that unless the commodity prices go up quite a bit, we're going to see higher fertilizer prices 3 months from now than what we see today. So my feeling is, on our own farm, yep, we'll probably buy some right now, but we're going to wait until we soil test and then find out what we actually need and probably buy a lot of the rest then. We really like doing everything in the fall to get the work out of the way. So we're probably not going to wait till spring, regardless of whether we think, oh, the price might come down 10% more by spring. We just want to get the work done, and we want to do it right. So I think we're buying this fall no matter what. But I just don't believe that the fertilizer prices are going to go up anymore. I think they're probably going to hold steady between now and October, November, but they very well might go down just a little bit more too. We'll see. It just depends so much on what happens with commodity prices.
Well, fertilizing your crop well also helps that crop fight off weed pressure from weeds like our Weed of the Week. Can you identify this week's weed?